Greetings, I'm Dr. Sean Reed, author of the Dating Toolbox, available on Amazon.com. So the other day I did a video called You Are the Prize, and I talked about a concept known as prizing, where you realize your own self-value. And that was part one. Today I want to do a follow-up video, You Are the Prize, part two. And today I'm going to talk about my story. How I went from a guy with zero confidence, a mindset of failure, a mindset of scarcity, to becoming very confident and having a mindset of many women being available to me. Okay, so the central thought, the central thesis of both these videos is, as you think, so shall you believe. If you can develop a mindset of success with women, you will in fact become successful with women. And as mentioned, I'm going to tell my story. Okay, so when I was young, I was what is known as a natural with women. I was naturally good with women. I was naturally good with opening. We didn't have any systems, no seduction community. I was just naturally able to always come up, talk to women, pick up women, seduce women. But unfortunately, I developed a drug and alcohol problem that eventually killed my confidence. I started smoking marijuana at a very young age of 13, which I know a lot of people, marijuana is legal in a lot of places, and I know a lot of people smoke marijuana nowadays. But when a young person smokes marijuana, it stunts their emotional growth. So even though some people may argue, it's perfectly fine for someone 45 to smoke marijuana daily, for a young person, it's a bad idea because it stunts their emotional growth. But nonetheless, I still became very successful with women. And then I started drinking around the age of 18, started off with 2-3 beers a day. By the age of 25, I was drinking 15 beers a day, every day. But even so, even though I got involved with drugs and alcohol very young, I was still very naturally successful with women from the age of 18 to 24. I had many beautiful girlfriends. I often had the most beautiful girlfriends in the city. And I was a success. However, by the age of 25, I had become a total failure. By this point, as mentioned, I was drinking 15 beers a day. I was smoking marijuana every day. I was doing hard drugs on the weekends all the time. And what this eventually did is it crushed my self-confidence. Eventually, I became clean and sober. I quit drinking at the age of 27. Although I was still daily smoking marijuana and using hard drugs. But by the age of 27, I quit drinking and I became very involved in bodybuilding, and I became very successful. I became a pretty successful, pretty accomplished bodybuilder. I won the Mr. Ironman. I won the light heavyweight division at the Mr. San Francisco. And so by the age of 32, I looked like this. Okay, I may not be Mr. Olympia, but as you can see, I was a very good-looking guy. I guess I was good enough to be called a Chad, right? But the point is, even though by the age of 32, and I was a model, I made money, with my looks. However, my self-confidence was so low, it did not matter with women. Okay, that's the takeaway here. Even if you're very good looking, your self-confidence, your mindset can still destroy you. And conversely, the message I'm bringing to everyone watching this is that through the proper mindset, you can overcome the fact that you aren't necessarily the best looking guy. So by the age of 32, I was extremely good looking, but because I had no self-confidence, because I viewed myself as a failure, I was terrible at relationships. I was desperate. I was on a date with this one woman, and on our first date, she tells me that her friend didn't want to return her coat, so she wanted to kill her friend, right? We call that a red flag. I was so desperate that I kept dating that woman, and I eventually married her because I was so weak. I was so emotionally weak. I was desperate. I didn't have relationships. I took hostages. So whereas once my system was developed, I would never have dated such a woman. I ended up marrying that woman because I had such low confidence by my early 30s. Okay, by 35, that started to change. I got clean and sober, but the problem was the things that help you get clean and sober, all the principles of AA and all that, they do not make you good with women. So by the age of 35, I still had a very negative view of myself. And even though by this age I was clean and sober, I was on a very prestigious Rockefeller scholarship. I got all my school paid for. I got a monthly stipend. It looked like, and I was still working out. I gained some weight, but I was still working out, and I'd gotten into martial arts. It looked, at the age of 35, it looked like externally like I was a winner. I was still a loser when it came to women. I still was unsuccessful at relationships. Now, so what happened is between the ages of 35 and 42, that is when I developed my system. And part of that system is developing your self-confidence as a man. So by the age of 42, I had become supremely confident with women, and that is when I started having success. I started having success before 32 because my system was developing. But by the age of 32, I was extremely confident with women. I was extremely confident in my ability to walk up to any woman, anytime, anywhere, and start a conversation. I was extremely confident in my ability to go on dates and successfully date. I knew I could meet women. I knew I could pick up women. I knew I could seduce women. And by that time, I developed what I talk about in my other videos. I had developed a 3-woman rotation, and I was consistently dating 3 extremely high quality, high value women. And eventually, as I mentioned before, I married the best of all those women. In 18 years, I am still happily married to her. Interestingly, during that time, I had gone from someone who was making a lot of money, who was making $200,000 a year, to someone who doesn't make that much money. But because I'm so confident, a lot of guys complain that they marry a woman, and as soon as their money starts to go, the woman leaves you. And I know that's a big problem in the Western world and in the world of relationships. But if you learn how to properly select high quality women, you will select the kind of woman who won't leave you. And that's what I was able to do with my system. So today, even though I don't make a lot of money, my wife stays with me. And ironically, my wife today makes a lot of money. The reason she stays with me is because I still have my self-confidence. I'm old, I'm ugly, but I'm still confident. I still have that internal belief in myself, and that's why I'm still able to keep my wife attracted to me. So the key here, guys, the lesson for you is, again, as you think, so shall you believe. You are the prize. You must learn that you are a man of high value. We talk in some of the videos how you develop that value. You develop that value through learning how to open women, learning how to confidently seduce women, how to storytell. We go to the gym, we study martial arts, we do all these things that build our confidence. But ultimately, you will come away with the concept of you are the prize. Some of my videos, I get comments by men complaining that today's dating world is impossible. I'm telling you that you still can date successfully if you develop the mindset that you are the prize. Oh, so if you like what you see in here today, please hit the like, please hit the subscribe button. If you have any questions or comments, please post them up, and I will be happy to return your message.